Hello everyone, and welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision in N-Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 31. This is a cab ride video. It's been a few months since I've done one. I think it was back in May. So it's been 4 or 5 months, so I thought this would be a good time to do another cab ride video, and especially wanted to feature the area around Franklin Grove, which is the area that I just most recently finished up. And we're going to start here with looking at Franklin Grove before I started to work on roads and fixing things up and so forth. And as you can see, basically just have buildings on grass, just plucked down here or there. Of course, the track and ballast and the basic scenery is done, but the buildings and the details are just kind of set down. So you see the farm buildings and silos and so forth are just stuck on the ground. Here we can see from the other direction, again, the farm buildings are just on the ground. No detail, nothing added to kind of bring them into the scenery. The backdrop also did not have any photo backdrops. We do have some trees here, but where the layout meets the backdrop, it's just as an abrupt change. And you can see again the Pitzer grain there is pretty unfinished and broken, and so that's kind of what it looked like when we started. And now we're going to take a look at it after putting in roads and ballast, or I should say gravel and things like that. So once again, you can see some vehicles, some gravel down. The Pitzer and Sons is fixed up and ready to go. The crossing is done. And if you take a look here to the right there, you can see where we have some photo backdrops to kind of blend the layout into the backdrop. And then as we come to the farm here, didn't take a whole lot, just putting some gravel down and cars, and kind of had it blend into the scenery, and it looks pretty good. Here we'll come from the other way. I kind of need to do something with the silos there a little bit, but just that little gravel road and the cars, and put a cow there with some farm hands trying to get it into the barn. Here we're coming the other way. We're running a red signal here, but that's right. And again, here you can see Pitzer and Sons. You can see pretty well here. It's got the conveyors all in and fixed up, and the roads, as you can see, are in. So Franklin Grove definitely is an improvement over what we had before. Since this is a cab ride video, I thought it'd be good to do a complete run through the entire layout. So we're starting here in the east staging yard, and we're taking off. As you can see, we're coming into the first town on the layout, which is River Forest. This was worked on quite a while ago. Do have the platforms and the station lights and everything in. This is pretty well finished. Some passengers waiting. There's a wall separating River Forest from Maywood, and as you can see, I put a mirror up there, so it doesn't look like we're going into a wall. Now we transition, and we're going through the forest preserves and transitioning now into Maywood, going across the Des Plaines River. This is an area that I need to work on quite a bit, have some details to do on the bridge, mainly the walkways for maintenance crews to walk on the bridge, and then of course buildings and platforms. There is a station here in Maywood, so I need to put in a platform here as well. Now we're coming around the bend. This is just generic suburban Chicago here. And then we're going to be coming into Proviso. Need to do some work on this building to the right here to kind of bring it to the layout. Go past some locomotives. This is those 3 locomotives are a train that just pulled in. The locomotives have yet to be taken to the engine facilities. You can see my computer station there with a schematic of the layout on it. The computer does control all the signals and turnouts on the layout. So when we have op sessions, we have a dispatcher that is able to control the signals and make sure everything runs smoothly. There you have a couple of Norfolk Southern locomotives in a holding track. Norfolk Southern does come from the east staging yards to Proviso, and then the engines wait there and take trains back to Chicago. Here you have another Norfolk Southern train that's just pulled in, hasn't been coupled from its train yet. The Proviso engine facilities are to the right, and then you just have a little holding yard to the left, which holds our excursion trains. And here we have another little wall that separates Proviso from Elmhurst. I did not put a mirror here just because the angle didn't work quite right, but there are trees that do a really good job of hiding the hole. And now we come into Elmhurst, which you can see on your right. And then we have the station platforms. This is a metro stop. A couple of crossings. And it looks like we're coming upon a coal train. So we have a eastbound loaded coal train as we transition from Elmhurst and coming into Wheaton. Wheaton is the area that I'm working on right now. Been mainly spending time building structures. I have a bunch of warehouses here. I changed the spur here for the warehouses. You see, I just have a brand new turnout there with a spur leading to the warehouses and some boxcars there. Some more warehouses. We'll be putting in parking lots for the warehouses, of course, and lots of roads yet and trees. To the left here will be a parking lot for the metro station, which will be on your right. And we'll try to model it after the Wheaton metro station. You also see to the right a little neighborhood of Wheaton. The 2 piers here you will have, there's going to be a bridge going across here, which is a bike pathway. So we're going to be using that to hide the hole into yet another wall. And we transition from Wheaton, skip about 40 miles and go across the Rock River. And then we're going to be coming into Rochelle. This is an area that I worked on a few months ago. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I lived in Rochelle for 17 years, and this really is very close to how it looks along the main line. In Rochelle, you have the power plant there, the railroad park, the little neighborhoods. There's the pavilion for the railroad park. The signals and the signal bridge, and then of course here we have the BNSF crossing. And then now we're on the western edge of town where there's a Del Monte warehouse, And then to the right, you have a road. That's Highway 38 going out to Ashton and Franklin Grove and so on. Now this is the one place where I have a 180-degree turn, and so I put some trees here to kind of break it up a little bit so you don't see the entire 180 degrees of the curve. I think it does a good job. The curve is still 36-inch radius, so it's a broad curve, but I put some trees in there to kind of break things up. Now we're going into Global 3, which is just outside of Rochelle. It actually is still within the city limits, but only because Rochelle annexed it, so they kind of drew a line around it and annexed it for tax reasons, I'm sure. So you have Global 3 to the left. You never get a good look of Global 3 on the cab view just because the double stacks block your view. Little farm to the right. You do get a pretty good look at the check-in and check-out booths. I think they're called ramps. Maybe not. I don't know. And then you have the yard crew there. And now we're coming again into Franklin Grove. You can see Pitzer & Sons has all the conveyors lined up. The silos are all fixed. The roads are in place. Crossing is done. Consolidated grain and barge to your right there is pretty done. Might add some more details to that, but did add a photo backdrop there. And the farm has some gravel roads to kind of tie everything together, along with vehicles and figures. Hey, from Franklin Grove, we go across northern Illinois countryside as we meet a eastbound double stack train. Now it gets a little jumpy going through the bridge here. It's because the camera is kind of hitting the bridge a little bit. I didn't have it exact. I usually have to put the camera a little bit to the right, but I had it centered, and so it hits the bridge a bit. And that was the Mississippi River that we just went across, and now we're coming into Clinton. This is another area that I'm going to be working on in the near future. So I'm working on Wheaton right now, and then after Wheaton, I'll probably work on either Clinton here or Maywood. But those are basically the areas that I have left to do on the layout. Alright, so that's Clinton, and then from Clinton, Iowa, we go into the staging yard, so we'll get a good chance seeing the staging yards. Wanted to also put in a little video here, or a picture of the camera setup that I have. So as you can see, we're actually part of a stack train. And I just stuck a little, used an Atherton boxcar and took the box off the boxcar and set the camera on the floor of the boxcar with double-sided Scotch tape. And now we're into the staging yard. There's the furnace and some other trains. And then that now brings us back to where we started. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, a cab ride across the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. Again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Take care.